Olá! Welcome to our course dedicated to migration and taxation laws in Portugal. I'm thrilled to have you on board. My name is Filipe Espinha, an attorney and a postgraduate of the University of Lisbon. With over 20 years of experience, I've been practicing law in the fields of taxation, corporate, labor and migration laws. This course is tailor-made for those of you who have chosen Portugal as their second home and are eager to master the art of managing the legal aspects of your life in our beautiful country. In the immigration process, there are two important stages that are closely related but distinct. The first stage involves obtaining a visa that allows you to enter the country legally. This visa can be either a tourist visa or a resident visa, which is obtained with the intention of seeking permanent residency. Any visa is acquired outside of Portugal. Once you are within Portugal's territory, you enter the second stage, which is the process of obtaining a residence permit. Only after obtaining the residence permit can you become a legal resident of Portugal. It's important to note that legal residence should not be confused with tax residence, as these are completely separate matters. You can become a tax resident of Portugal much earlier than becoming a legal resident. However, I will provide more details on the tax-related matters in future lessons. Let's return to the topic of entering the country. As you know, Portugal is a member of the European Union and the European Economic Area. For this reason, citizens of many European countries can freely come to Portugal for work and permanent residence. If you are a citizen of a European country like Norway, Liechtenstein, Iceland or Switzerland, you can easily move to Portugal. You don't need any type of entry visa. Now, let's talk about third country nationals. Crucial point is the entry into the country. You must have a document confirming that you enter the country legally within the validity of your visa. This is of paramount importance to the following immigration process. So, how can you enter the country correctly? There are several ways. The first way is to arrive in Portugal directly from a country outside the Schengen area. This will get you a stamp from the Portuguese border service in your passport. In the case of an e-visa, the stamp will be virtual as record in a database. The second method is more tricky. If you arrive to Portugal from another Schengen zone country, you won't have a Portuguese stamp in your passport. In this case, you need to stay in an official lodge for at least one night. It can be an hotel or a licensed tourist accommodation. When checking out, request confirmation of your stay from the hotel's reception. If you are going to stay at your friend's house, you need to register your entry at the nearest immigration authority office. You can do this without having to schedule an appointment, but it should be done as soon as possible. If you are unable to visit the immigration authority office, then any other evidence of your entry in Portugal will be helpful in the future. These could include boarding passes from your flight, receipts for toll road payments, bus or train tickets. However, these pieces of evidence of your legal entry into the country may raise additional questions from the immigration authority. Okay, we have covered the entry rule. Let's move on. Portugal is part of the Schengen area, and all Schengen visa holders can stay in Portugal for up to 90 days within a 180-day period. However, let's take this opportunity to dispel some dangerous misconceptions. Some believe that the 90 days limit can be reset by simply leaving Portugal and return. This is a so-called visa run and is not advisable for two reasons. Firstly, the 90 days limit accumulates from your stay in all Schengen countries. So, when you are in neighboring Spain, the 90-day clock continues ticking. Secondly, the 90-day period is counted within a 6 months window, not just continuously. In other words, leaving the Schengen zone doesn't reset the 90 days limit right away. Before returning to the Schengen zone, you are advised to wait for at least 3 months. Another misconception is that visa-free entry allows for a long stay in Portugal. However, this is not the case. While these citizens do not need a visa to travel to the Schengen zone, the maximum stay is 90 days within a 180-day period. If you want to stay in Portugal for more than 180 days, you should need to obtain a residence visa. You can only obtain this visa at the consulate of the country where you permanently reside. Citizenship does not matter. The crucial factor is your place of residence. Portugal issues several types of residence visas, and we will discuss each type. But first, let's address a common issue. Regardless of the visa type, Portuguese consulates advise applicants to have a rental contract for a minimum of 12 months. This contract should be registered in the tax authority digital system. Along with the lease contract, you should provide a certificate from the tax authority. However, these can be challenging if you are not yet in Portugal. In some cases, I recommend resorting to the help of professionals. If you are a student, a letter from your university stating that you have accommodation in a dormitory should suffice. If you are moving as a family member of a Portuguese resident, there should be no issue either. You can provide your family member's address. Additionally, all applicants must provide a bank statement confirming that they have funds equivalent to 14 minimum wages in Portugal. For the second family member, the required amount is half of that. On some migration websites, you may come across a statement claiming that your savings should be equal to 12 minimum wages. However, this statement is incorrect. According to Portuguese labor legislation, every worker is entitled to annual guarantee income equivalent to 14 monthly salaries. This consists of 12 monthly salaries and 2 subsidies, vacation and Christmas. All right. Now that we have clarified the financial aspect, let's move on. All applicants should obtain a Portuguese tax number in advance, and it is required to sign a long-term lease agreement. Therefore, I recommend starting your preparation by obtaining a tax number. Some consulates have recently been recommending applicants include a motivational letter with their application. In this letter, you explain why you want to live in Portugal. Other documents, such as medical insurance and a criminal record certificate, typically do not pose any problem. But here's some good news for those who have already arrived in Portugal on a Schengen visa and wishes to stay. You have several options for legalizing your status without returning to your home country. You can enroll in a school, find employment, start a business, or invest in Portugal. Family members of Portuguese residents can also stay on a Schengen visa and start a migration process. However, in this case, waiting time can be lengthy. Passive income recipients and digital nomads are strongly advised to obtain a residence visa in their home country. Legalizing their status through a Schengen visa may be challenging. I give the same recommendation to citizens of visa-exempt countries. You should remember that there is a visa in your passport as well. It just exists as a database record rather than a sticker in your passport. However, your rights and obligations are the same as if you had a Schengen visa in your passport. And now it's time for our practical tasks.